Good morning, everyone, and I hope we also have participants online, I understand. So greetings to them as well. I'm Stefan Weise from the Alliance of Biodiversity International and CIAT, and I'm a co-director of the program together, director of the program being Jung-Soo Shin of the ASEAN CGIAR regional program. So we're going to do a deep dive session focused on food and nutrition security, unveiling innovations and building partnerships for sustainable ASEAN agri-food systems. So we aim to delve into the critical issues of food and nutrition security within the ASEAN region with a focus on unveiling innovations and cultivating partnerships. So really, how do we bring innovations in? How do we build on and establish the necessary partnerships to be successful in this area around transforming agri-food systems. Looking at challenges and opportunities, of course, and basically looking at this nexus that I just mentioned between partnerships, innovations, and creating that transformation. With that, I will move on to basically just say that we have a setup where we have a keynote speaker at the beginning. We'll have 10 minutes on that. Then we have specific CGIAR presentations by 3 people, each one 15 minutes. You would have been happy, I know, 5 minutes. And that's why, just to say, for discipline's sake, I'll be using this. So keep an eye on this, because it's very easy to miss timing when we're so excited about the topic. And then we'll have a panel discussion with 3 panelists. And then that is followed by some Q&A out of the audience or online, and then we'll wrap up at 12:30. So that's the program for the next 90 minutes, more or less. So with that, let me go to the keynote speaker. He is Jung-Soo Shin, the ASEAN CGIAR Program Director of the regional program, and the Asia Director at IRI, the International Rice Research Institute. He brings a wealth of experience and expertise in agricultural research and development with a focus on driving innovation and sustainability within the agri-food system. And this is what this session is about, so I think we got the right person here to share his views with us. So let me ask Jung-Soo to join us up here and provide his insights on navigating the future of ASEAN agri-food systems. Jung-Soo, please.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. So this is Jung-Soo, and then today's for the 10 minutes, I'd like to review the current CGIAR and ASEAN Food and Nutritional Innovation Program. So this is kind of regional program, so especially for the ASEAN member countries. So this is it's an 8 centers program, so I will just give you the overview of this program first. I think this is working. Can you just move it to the next slide, please? Okay. So this is, as you see, the alliance, SIP is a potato, IFRI, and WIMI, IRI were fish. So we have the policy and climate change, and then the livestock, fish, rice, water management, and potato, and then the other cereals, right? The wheat, soybean, and the corns. So this is kind of 8 centers, the program, to deliver the solution for the ASEAN member countries. So this is a kind of the started from 2021 practically, but the 2022 we had a lots of engagement and the discussion among the member countries, the 10 ASEAN member countries. So if you see the tables, so you can see that each country is the partner and what kind of discussion we had, because the basic discussion is so just give the brief information about this kind of program and try to get to know what is the real demand, what is your problem, so what kind of things priority you want to tackle. So the reason why is normally so research program is designed by the scientist, but we really wanted to design this program from the basis of the people's demand, especially the ASEAN member countries. So what these people think, we need this one. So that's why the strong engagement is the value of this program. So if you see the 10 countries, so there is a kind of the different kind of the diversities. Singapore, they don't produce any single seed of the rice. They are purely consumers. But they are contributing. So what is the consumer preference? If the developing countries produce seed and rice and export market, and what is the consumer preference? So those things are big kind of the harmonization of the ASEAN member countries to bring the real value to this program. So a lot of kinds of discussion and presentation and endorsement from the ASEAN Secretariat and ASEAN ministers have been done. So there are two important high-level meetings in ASEAN. One is the AMAP, ASEAN ministers meeting level. Some AMAP is the one level down, it's the deputy minister or the DG level. So those two, the important meetings, we presented this program. And finally, with the help of the ASEAN Secretariat, so we made the endorsement from the ministers. So we got the letter from the official letter. This program was endorsed by the ministers of ASEAN member countries. So that was really great achievement that we made. And finally, we had it's a great launching event last October as a side event of the 45th AMAP meeting in Malaysia. So this vision is very simple. Under this climate change and all kinds of the situation, external situation is challenging. How you can support the people in ASEAN member countries? What kind of activities, what kind of intervention can bring the value and solution to the people there? That is our vision. So we have many kind of the partners. We work together to develop this program and to make the implementation of this project. So if you see the ASEAN Center for Diversity, ALAC, and the CIRCA in Philippines, and the Climate Resilience Network in ASEAN. So if you see the kinds of partners, we do all kinds of in-depth discussion, how we can bring the real, the activities, real intervention packages to the problem of the ASEAN member countries. So this is the kind of support. So actually we got the initial funding to run this program from the CGIAR from the Australian government and the FCDO from the UK government. And we have recently the Japanese government, MAF, Ministry of the Agriculture and Forestry. So they confirmed the additional funding for the rice and the climate change. That's why now, so we are discussing about the ADB funding. So this is the kind of key supporters for our program. Thank you very much for the Australian government and UK government, Japanese government, so to make this happen. Without their support, and this program cannot be started. Thank you very much again. And this is a kind of packages. So we will have the in detail the presentation. That's why I don't want to touch in detail. So we have 8 kinds of demand from the ASEAN member countries. Rice and aquaculture, rice and fish. How we can maximize farmers' income? Try to just handle rice field and the fish together. So as a nutritional source and as the income source. And if you see the climate change is really, really the hot topic. So that's why every member country, they pick climate change is important. And then agro-diversity is in danger in ASEAN member country. That's why we need to have some professional intervention to make it the better situation of agro-diversity. And if you see the value chain and regional trade, so even though we have ASEAN free trade agreement, but still, so because of the Ukraine war and so many kinds of logistic disruption and supply chain disruption, so that's why the regional trade and the value chain the development, that is also one of the key elements for the ASEAN member countries. And transboundary pest and disease, of course, every country has a big headache now. That's why they want to touch this one. Private sector investment for the sustainable financing and the irrigation. So, of course, World Bank and ADB support the big irrigation project, but farm-led irrigation is the practical solution for the farmers in member countries. And food system, finally, nutrition is one of the key and the really, really hot topic for the ASEAN member countries, how we can bring the nutritious food to the people in there. So I don't want to touch everything. Rice fish, climate change, biodiversity, trade and value chain, transboundary disease, private sector investment, farm-led irrigation, and nutrition. That is the 8 packages. So now we have our colleagues will just go a little bit further to explain about some initiatives of each intervention package. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Jung-soo, and I didn't even have to use my little card. With that, we go to the 3 more in-depth presentations of 5 minutes each, and building on what Jung-soo presented, sort of delving into real-world examples of interventions aimed at improving value chains, addressing climate change, and promoting healthier diets within the ASEAN agri-food systems. And so the 3 presentations, I'll ask each presenter to come up one after the other. I think that's the most efficient way of doing it. So with that, let's start with Kevin Chen. He's a senior research fellow of the International Food and Policy Research Institute, IFPRI. Kevin is going to look at within the context of ASEAN's agri-food systems, how do interventions targeting value chains and regional trade contribute to enhancing food security, promoting economic growth, and fostering sustainable development? Over to you, Kevin.
Well, thank you very much, Steve, for having me talk about IP4 of the CGIAR ASEAN Innovative Food Program. And foreign direct investment in the ASEAN region is important in the food sector. Trade is important. And trade within the ASEAN member state is very important. Trade with China, with India, with Japan, with the United States, with Europe are also very important. So those are the areas we want to look at that. So in nature, we try to emphasize that's the regional program. So we want to look at it from ASEAN's level on those trade issues and value chain development issues. Looks like I cannot move, so, well. So objective is quite simple, and yet if we can achieve that, it will be very powerful. And really, the IP4 is seek to stimulate what we call inclusive, efficient and safe and sustainable agricultural trade and value chains. And for the first year, we have 4 target countries: Cambodia, Indonesia, Myanmar, and Laos. If the funding allowed us, we like to include more targeted countries as well. But let's bear in mind, our approach we are taking is very regional when we're tackling the challenge in the value chain development and trade. So with that, let me quickly mention what are the 3 key accomplishments we achieved since, I would say, September 2023, so roughly half a year from that time to now. And the first accomplishment is, as a researcher, we're always good at writing book and reports, right? So we, in relatively short period of time, we finish a book. We produced 3 technical reports which addressing some of the emerging challenge we face in Asia related to the trade issue and the value chain issues. I'm not going to go to the detail because I only have 5 minutes. And the second accomplishment I really like to mention, information is always important to facilitate the trade and the value chain development. So what we really have accomplished in the first 6 months is to build what we call, we leverage the funding from university in China called Zhejiang University. That's also I have a position, part-time position with. And we try to develop that agri-food trade portal, the Sino-ASEAN agricultural trade portal. So with the further support of ASEAN program in 2024, we want to develop that further. We want to develop that as ASEAN food trade and value chain development portals. We thought that's something which is very much needed. And we hopefully can link that with the other efforts we are doing. For example, with another ADBTA, we are working on the food security portal. So we want to integrate those efforts together, hopefully produce something which are more useful for the regions. The third accomplishment is, which I think is very important. We want something, we want a dialogue. We want results to be seen at the regional level. For that to happen, we need good communication. So we establish 2 committees. One committee is with a policymaker, including ASEAN Secretariat, with the member states of the ASEAN country, and also with the very important target exporting countries, or in that particular committee, to discuss the challenge, to identify the gap from the policy level, what do we need to do. And on another level, we also establish the committee at a more technical level. So we work with the regional think tank in the regional level, APRAGA, with the CELCA, and with the Mekong Institute, and also with a think tank in the target country. So we brought them all together to the Bangkok in February. We established those 2 committees to enhance the dialogue, identify the gap, hopefully help us to find the solution we need to address those gaps. So those are the key achievements. What do we look forward next year? I didn't look at it for another 3 or 4 years. I only want to look at the next year. What do we want to do? We want to identify pathway to inform policymakers in ASEAN to enhance the coordination mechanism on enhancing trade and value chain development in the region. Second, as I mentioned already, we want to develop ASEAN agri-trade portal and focus on building regional trade and value chain development models, fostering the trade and market integration within the ASEAN. We want to design and implement a low-cost, customized food safety solution. Food safety issue is key in the trade areas. So we want to find some solutions to address this particular challenge. We also want to assess the value chain integration, what's that impact to the region, how that impact the income distribution, the poverty, and infants' health. That's what we want to look at, because member countries are concerned the consequence of market integration. This is a key issue to address the concern with our member countries. And we want to produce cases of innovation and guidelines for regional food value chain development. In 2023, we made interesting development. We meet with the Laos delegate in Beijing, and we helped to establish a relation between China and Laos for Laos to export cattle to China. To export cattle to China, this food safety issue quality issue we have to address. With our committee, with this program, IP4, we are in position to help to realize those possible trade links. With that, I'll conclude my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Clearly a matter of already starting to pull together some of the evidence and studies you identified, and also the partnerships, both policy and technical partnerships that are critical for the success in your area of work, but I think across the whole program. Now I would like to ask Kazushi Saito to present. He is a senior scientist for systems agronomy and climate change at IRI, the International Rice Research Institute, and the question he's asking in looking to address is, in what ways does the climate neutrality and circular agriculture intervention package contribute to mitigating the impacts of climate change on ASEAN's agri-food systems, while of course fostering sustainable agriculture practices and resource management. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. So, on behalf of my colleague in CG centers and also partners, I'm going to talk about our work with focus on progress in research, and also there's some opportunity for the future work. So, and I think everybody knows that agriculture has been criticized as one of the key sources for the greenhouse gas emissions. So in our work, we really want to reduce emission gas and carbon footprint in ASEAN agri-food systems. So to do so, which commodity we should focus? So we realize that, as maybe you already know, that rice and livestock have a huge opportunity for the mitigation, for potential for reducing carbon emissions. So, with this evidence, our work package developed the co-developed framework for reducing GHG emissions together with our partners. Just a very simple 5 steps. One is for the inventory development for the livestock, and rice for the technology innovations for reducing the emission gas. Second step is to identify hotspot and high impact area through survey, remote sensing technology, and modeling. And the third step is monitoring, reporting, and verification systems we would like to develop and operationalize for the emission gas reporting. And then we have the cross-cutting topic for the gender, which will be there closely work with other steps, and also we have the work for the auto-scaling mechanism, policy, and also the financial model. So we develop very simple framework. Then we already start some works, then we have some progress here, then we already identified some of the intervention areas, including rice and livestock, and like livestock productivity, feed additives, etc. Then we have the now benchmarking the farmers' practice and also calculating emission gas in different countries. Then in the MRV, we conceptualize, especially we focus on Vietnam as a case study to develop the framework. I will show later. Then we initiate a roadmap for the scaling of our interventions. Then we also work with a paper for harmonizing regulatory framework for the, achieving the climate neutrality. And we already find a lot of partners and donors who are interested in our work. So I listed some of the partners, donors who are interested for the investment, including GCF, GIZ, and also Japanese government, as John-Soo mentioned. Then from now, I have 3 slides focus on rice. And so we have a key intervention areas, which mainly include 4 areas: rice straw management, water management. In fact, today afternoon, we have the session with focus on alternate wetting and dry. So if you are interested in, please join afternoon session. And also we have variety component and also the fertilizer. Fertilizer also contribute into our emission as well. So it is, I quantify the potential impact for reducing emission gas. Then we are working for not only this scaling of this innovation, we have some research component. This is really hot topic now. Many investors really want to see the progress in this work, varieties or more detailed physiological mechanisms, and also modeling, and good reporting system, and also carbon credit. So now I'm going to talk about carbon credit. So we identify key research areas which could help transparent and inclusive carbon markets. And so farmers would get the benefit, and also we would like to also the policy support. So enable, for example, second one is enabling platform. Farmers can register, and then in the field, then appropriate market carbon market project. Then also carbon market policy is third one. Then fourth one is inclusive investment. And as mentioned, that we would really develop and operationalize monitoring system, MRV, and also we would like to more focus on now the satellite-based MRV. So this is last slide. This is really we would like to develop and operationalize within a couple of years. We identified the 3 levels of the reporting. It comes from field level, or commune level, or regional level. Of course, regional level, you need to rely on satellite image or crop simulation model. We are developing now. Then we have the calculation systems, rice GEM, so-called, and we have tier 1, tier 2 approach, so this comes from the IPCC. Then we are developing the new modeling using our traditional horizon model together with AI. Using this information, we could compute emission gas. Then we are developing verification protocol, then which will be linked with carbon credit. I think this is really exciting research areas. We really want to work together with partners for the development, operationalize this system. This is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that overview. Really comprehensive approach in this area of managing greenhouse gases particularly. That was our second example, and then we go to the third example, and this is going to be presented by Thuyen Huynh. She is a research team leader of the Food, Environment, and Consumer Behavior Program of the Alliance of Biodiversity International and CIAT. And Thuyen, you'll be looking at how the work you're doing on food systems transformation contributes to promoting access to nutritious and healthy diets among ASEAN's populations, while of course addressing the challenges of food insecurity and malnutrition. So over to you.
Thanks, Stephen, and also thanks the organizer to have this opportunity. And the 2 days before, we have heard a lot about why food system, why nutrition need to be embedded in terms not only in malnutrition, but look at the triple burden of malnutrition to be integrated in food security. And for today, because of the 5 minutes, so I have put information here in the slides. I hope the organizer can share to participants. If you have further discussion, please feel free to reach out to me. In these 5 minutes, I will focus on the project, on how we can step by step to gain interest and also to make the people sit together by scientific methodology. But it's not only for research, but also for the development and bring the people to make the real impact on a scale. So this one they have already in the introduction by Yong-soo. And also here we have the several countries have shown interest to the IPH, food system transformation, to stimulate not only on the supply of the nutritious and healthy food, but also to stimulate the demand to consume the nutritious and healthy diet. And how we can do that, help prevent that? Please stay for a minute. We can bring you to the process to understand more about the complicated but also very interesting new approach to bring the people to fight each other where we are in food system element and how we can work together, how we can sell very limited time, but try to understand each other before we make any decision for more food system outcomes in terms of not only nutrition, but also in terms of economic and also environmental impact. So how we do that? At the beginning, we think that by our assumption, how to make the food system transformation can be taken place. We need first to understand, to downscale the food system framework, because we understand that the food system can be different in different contexts, in different countries, and even inside the country can be different in the ecological areas. But first, need to understand, because that the process need to be owned by the country itself, by the region itself. So we need also to make the understanding, improve the capacity of stakeholder, not by on the complicated concept of food system, but to understand where, which ministries in which food system element and which ministry interact for different food system outcome. That's the only way for them to have a motivation to sit together, because they can all contribute together to achieve the bigger impact without a lot of resources, because we all have limited resources in each country and subnational level to achieve the food system outcome for nutrition. We don't want to make the burdens at the subnational for implementation, because we have the NDC, we have the nutrition, we have the agriculture, production, etc., and how to achieve them. First, understanding. Second thing, by understanding that, by figure out where they are in the food system element in production, processing, or the consumption side, they will understand their role inside and how they can work together to make the impact, to identify the leverage point, at least related to element in food system. And why leverage point? Because we hope that with the limited resources, the leverage points can bring different elements after in food system to achieve more different outcome in nutrition, also in mitigation target. And then the final one, based on different countries, with the bottom-up approach from subnational and national, they will decide by themselves which indicator, which priorities they would like to prioritize for investment to achieve first, and what is the next step they want to invest. And then we bring together to share the like learning, innovation at regional level to create a platform. And that's one the national convener of the UN Food System Summit can have the place to learn from each other, to share from each other, and also to receive the support to let different countries to know, to transform the food system for different outcomes, where to start, how to work together, and not inside the country, but also at regional level like ASEAN countries. And just brief information, because we started in 2020 only 1 year, and we decided first understanding very important, but not only on the framework of food system, but make the framework to be an indicator, because indicator we related to the mandate of each ministry. by understanding the indicator and food system element, they can identify where they are. And they will not only look at one element food system, they look at the overall food system. Like we go for the doctor check, we need to check first the overall things before we can identify where we should focus first for the upcoming priority or investment. And thanks to that, thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture and also thanks to other stakeholders participate in the process, we have some preliminary information to bless the food system with different elements to be presented in the COP28, and also to bring the concept of food system and healthy diet inside the mitigation target for NDC and try to see how it can benefit to each other. And also, we learned not only in Vietnam, but also in Cambodia, we also received a lot of interest from the stakeholder to move up from nutrition sensitive agri-food system to food system transformation for nutrition and healthy diets. And also, we also understand that in the context of ASEAN, the food safety cannot separate to nutrition food. So we need to integrate the concept together, but we need to be multi-sector also. So the food safety performance tool need to be adapted in the concept of food system. And also need to, the risk communication need to be adapted to be in line with multi-sector. Yeah, so sorry. And then this year, we will focus first on the activity in Vietnam. We deep dive from the food system profile. We go inside the leverage point and priorities, how we would like to think about innovation leverage point, not only in terms of technology, but also in terms of learning innovation and mechanism, how people work together. The second one, we will move to other countries based on the interests of the ASEAN countries to apply the food system assessment, identify leverage points, and go together globally with the national partners. And we also try to understand from the consumer to make the motivation for the transformation in production, also supply system. And we also need to do capacity building. We have policy pathway. We need to think about also the innovation pathway and also about the capacity building pathway. And explore possibility to start for other ASEAN, because we know that not one fit all. We need to hand in hand with the national partner and subnational to make sure the process will be owned by the country itself. And finally, we hope to bring those together to create a platform at ASEAN level for the national convener for the people interest in the food system transformation to see the research on how to bring people together, how to work systematically and bring for different outcomes. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, and thanks to you, and in all these presentations, of course, it's so rich in the background, so do take the time to interact with the speakers and presenters during the lunch break or at other times during this forum. Again, you know, like Thuyen emphasized, the ownership at the subnational and national level is so critical to create change, and also the importance of stakeholders to understand how they can contribute to this change is critical as well. So what we would call the soft side of how things happen is as important as having the innovations identified. So with that, I would like to go over to the panel section. And I think the best way we'll do is there are 3 panelists who are going to give their experience around reshaping the food systems, looking at transformation elements, and the role of partnerships in all of that. The way, I think, to do it, maybe you earn your seat on the panel by passing through this podium and making your 5-minute intervention. We have asked questions, set of questions to each of the panelists already. They have that information. And then once you have presented, please have a seat. Or if you want to talk about your intervention from the seat, you can go directly there. And then we'll go through initially a 5-minute individual intervention, followed by another shorter second question with the panelists on the stage, all of them. So let's start then with Ped Oriencio. He is a senior officer of the Food, Agriculture and Forestry Division of the ASEAN Secretariat. Ah, there he is. I couldn't find him in the audience, right below the glare of the lights. The first question, set of questions to you has been basically provide an overview of the current state of food and agriculture within the ASEAN region, focusing on key challenges and opportunities, and also recent initiatives or policies around that. So over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Stefan. So maybe I would like to respond first to the question about the overview of the current ASEAN food and agriculture system. At first, maybe we can understand that ASEAN has come a long way in terms of boosting its agriculture sector. So we can see this and you can observe this from different strides, specific strides. First, we can observe that there's already improved crop production. There's efficient yields, which are actually brought about by the introduction of high-yielding varieties, pest and disease resistant varieties, and there are also varieties that are focused on adapting to the climate change. These are more often than not focused on staples such as rice, corn, and cassava. On the other hand, you can also observe better agronomic practices. In this case, you can see that there's already improved fertilization, the use of water, protection of soil health, and you can see there's also pest and disease management all throughout the ASEAN member states. There's also improved irrigation techniques. Technologies is available and they are easily adaptable, to the conditions needed by the ASEAN member states. On the other hand, we can see that infrastructure has already been improving. And we can see that there's a network of services that is made available throughout the food systems. And they cater to, distribution of food and making sure that the food has reached, the consumer level. On the other hand, as mentioned in IP4, looking at integration, regional integration, you can see that food security is already being harmonized with a lot of standards being put in place. Looking at food safety measures. You also have eliminating the tariffs for major agricultural products. And this has provided for ASEAN farmers to actually gain markets. I think this advancements has already translated into increase in food availability, and of course contribute to increased income of our farmer stakeholders. ASEAN is still a growing population, but we can see the trends like for instance in 2022, the ASEAN GDP has rose to $3.6 trillion US dollars, and about 10% of this is actually contributed by agriculture sector. But another 50% is coming from the services, not limiting to agriculture, of course, but other services as well, so, supporting agricultural food systems. Also, we can observe that as per the latest GFSI, the Global Food Security Index, ASEAN has averaged around 62 out of 100. And we can see that it has already, ASEAN member states has improved in terms of its food security conditions. If we look at these indicators from affordability to availability to having that food environment, we can see how these security categories align with the IP8, IP8 agenda that is being put forward by CGIAR. So along this line, we can see that there are improvements, but of course there are still challenges. I think I can mention 3 in this case. Climate change, of course, it's the big elephant in the room. Second, I think the food waste, no? Post-harvest losses. And third would be resource scarcity or conditions, no? Changing resources. So how does ASEAN deal with these conditions? Basically, we have strategic key priority areas, and it focus on regional cooperation. When we talk about regional cooperation, it's actually leveraging on strengths and resources that different stakeholders have that can be used to develop solutions, no? And also address, issues such as food security, climate change, and all this stuff. When listening to IP2's presentation earlier, we can observe that there's an alignment because ASEAN has recently developed this ASEAN carbon neutral strategy. And according to this strategy, there are a lot of opportunities for net zero agriculture. Also, we can find key agricultural agreements or regional agreements, such as the Action Plan on Sustainable Agriculture. So hopefully within this year, by October, this will also be endorsed by the ministers, this Action Plan on Sustainable Agriculture. And it basically supports efforts on reducing the use of harmful agrochemicals, reducing crop burning practices, and maybe promoting nature-based strategies or nature-positive strategies, and food security and resilient agriculture. ASEAN is also in the view that these concerns are really complex and they're multifaceted. That's why we require multi-stakeholder or multi-sector partnerships. And in this case, this can really contribute to realizing its efficiency and improving food security, livelihoods in this case. So we look forward to really working with different stakeholders in this case to bring forward, these different transformative elements, expertise, practices, and technologies to contribute to sustainable agriculture, so that it will not become only a buzzword, in the ASEAN. So I think we need more practical implementation in this case. That's actually what we are trying to look at this time moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ped. Yeah, clearly practical implementation is the key word that we've been hearing from the ASEAN Secretariat since the last 2 years. So, take projects and innovations to scale. There are too many withering on the ground and not moving forward. So that's an important message, I think, for all of us. And really the regional program, the role is how do we best do that? And that's why, as you saw from the examples, the 3 examples, we're looking at how do we do that? How do we best address it in a systematic way? So thank you very much for your points. With that, I would like to ask Margaret. Oh, there you are already. Welcome. Sorry. Do you want to introduce yourself or? No, okay. Okay, she's the chair of the ASEAN Climate Resilient Network. Oops, representing the chair. Okay. Okay, we won't get you in trouble. Representing the chair of the ASEAN Climate Resilient Network, and is the head director, I'm correcting my notes as we speak, of the multilateral and international organization collaborations of the International Ag Affairs Group of the Planning and Technical Division of the Department of Agriculture in Thailand. I'll be visiting you next week to try to understand how you're structured. So anyway, what we want to get here is the insights from Thailand, and I'll stop right at that because go ahead. So, and let me move aside.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Yeah, so I would like to take the privilege of having 10 minutes because I will use my slides. I'm getting old, and I might forget what will I say next time. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. Should I use this, right? Wait. So, with that long introduction, my battery is low. Okay. So, the 5-minute allocation might not bring us to a deep dive.
Are you okay? Because otherwise you can read it here.
Oh,
You have
I have, yes. And it seems that with this time allocation, we will dive in a shallow water. So I made these slides as my scuba diving gear. So you may stop me anytime and you just read on the slides later. Okay. So I will be answering 3 questions as was given to me. First is on my Thailand's insights on ASEAN CGIAR. So Thailand is very responsive to global agenda, and Thailand aligns itself with the urgent global concerns, particularly on the nexus climate, food, nature. I thank the keynote speakers who guided us to deep dive on navigating the future of ASEAN agri-food systems through the ASEAN CGIAR Innovations for Food and Nutrition Security regional program. Therefore, for the first question, I thought of giving you some insights of Thailand's drive responding to the 8 intervention packages. For IP1, regenerative agriculture and aquaculture practices and judicious agrochemical use, Thailand is exploring regenerative agriculture to promote soil health, biodiversity, climate resilience, and supported by government programs and initiatives. In the agricultural sector, efforts are underway to improve practices such as shrimp farming and fish culture, to address environmental concerns through responsible practices, certification schemes, and better management of agrochemicals, including promoting integrated pest management and regulating chemical inputs to ensure food safety and environmental sustainability. Additionally, the government is working to enforce safety standards and promote alternative farming methods, such as those aligned with the Good Agricultural Practices, or GAP programs, to enhance market access for farmers. Among the priority policies related to climate, food, nature nexus of the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives includes the 3S policy: security, safety, sustainability. Second is the market-driven production. Third, the enhanced market access by enhanced trade standards compliance, trade competitiveness. And the very recent one is the 76 provinces, 76 CSA models. So each provinces will have their own CSA model. For IP2, climate neutrality and circular agriculture, Thailand aligns with international agreements like the Paris Agreement to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, focusing on sectors like agriculture while transitioning to renewable energy sources to mitigate climate change. Circular agriculture initiatives in Thailand aim to minimize waste, promote resource efficiency, and develop a bioeconomy supported by policies like extended producer responsibility schemes. The Thai government likely supports research and capacity building initiatives to advance climate-neutral and circular agriculture, promoting sustainable farming methods and raising awareness among farmers through programs like the Royal Initiative projects and learning centers. For IP3, enhance biodiversity use and landscape biodiversity. Thailand's approach to biodiversity conservation includes developing the national biodiversity strategies and action plans, focus on agrobiodiversity, establishing seed banks, and promoting traditional crop varieties adapted to local conditions. Incentives such as subsidies and recognition schemes encourage farmers to conserve agrobiodiversity, while research initiatives and community-based conservation efforts integrate traditional knowledge with modern practices. Public awareness campaigns underscores the importance of biodiversity conservation, aiming to foster appreciation and sustainable consumption patterns among stakeholders. For IP4, enhancing value chains and regional trade, Thailand's 4.0 initiative aims to transition the economy toward innovation-driven growth, emphasizing advanced manufacturing and digital technology adoption, including in agriculture. Specific economic zones offer incentives to attract investments, particularly in agro-processing and manufacturing, while trade facilitation measures and regional trade agreements enhance connectivity and market access. Agro-processing industries receive government support for research technology transfer and export promotion, aligning with efforts to strengthen value chain. Thailand's policies focus on boosting economic growth, employment, and competitiveness through enhanced value chains and regional trade. To maximize potential, ongoing improvements in infrastructure, trade procedures, and market access are crucial. For IP5, transboundary pests and diseases, Thailand employs surveillance and early detection programs, quarantine measures, and international cooperation to combat transboundary pests and diseases, capacity building, research, and public awareness. Campaigns further strengthen its ability to prevent, monitor, and respond to these threats, ensuring agricultural resilience and food security. Under the ASEAN Sectoral Working Group on Crop, an expert working group on FAW, or fall armyworm, was established to prevent, to control the outbreak of this pest. For IP6, private sector investment and sustainable financing, Thailand incentivizes private sector investment in agriculture through the BOI, Board of Investments incentives, public-private partnership, and sustainable financing initiatives such as the green finance and impact investing. Certification programs and technology adoption further encourage sustainable practices, while capacity building initiatives support skill development and entrepreneurship in a sector, aligning with Thailand's goal of fostering inclusive economic growth and sustainable development through responsible investment in agriculture. The ASEAN Secretariat should have mentioned the ASEAN Responsible Investment in Agriculture, Agricultural Investment, or RAI. So for IP7, IP7, farmer-led irrigation for climate-resilient agri-food systems. Thailand promotes farmer-led irrigation systems through water management plans, community initiatives, and research on climate-resilient technologies. Capacity building and policy support empower farmers to manage water efficiently and adapt to climate change, contributing to sustainable agriculture and rural resilience. These efforts align with Thailand's commitment to building climate-resilient agri-food system through inclusive and adaptive water management practices. And the last IP, on IP8, a food system transformation for more nutritious and healthy diets, Thailand promotes nutritious diets through national nutrition policies, food fortification, and promotion of locally produced nutrient-rich foods, backed by school nutrition programs and consumer awareness campaigns. We have milk feeding program as well for the primary education, primary school children. Partnership and multi-sectoral collaboration are crucial for addressing food system challenges and ensuring sustained progress towards improving public health outcomes. And these initiatives reflect Thailand's comprehensive approach to transforming food system and promoting healthier diets for all. I have the last two questions, and I have the last two slides so that you can save the time for introducing me again. Let's do that together. Okay. Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll come back to the last two slides in the panel quick round of points afterwards. Just thank you very much, Margaret, for the systematic analysis that you provided. And it's clearly important for a regional program to build on the expertise and experience, not only in Thailand, but in other countries as well. And we'll hear from Vietnam in a minute. And how we can develop the mechanisms to share the experience, the knowledge, and the solutions across the countries in the region. So with that, I would like to invite Buimi Bin, Food Systems Focal Point, Senior Officer at ICD, the International Cooperation Department of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development of Vietnam. And she'll be sharing with us their experience to date on the food systems transformation process that they have embarked on, and how that may be something quite interesting to follow up on and pursue in other countries in the region as well. Please.
Thank you, Stefan. Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be here to share with you the food system transformation process in Vietnam. You know that in Vietnam, since 1980 or early 90 last century, we are in the shortage of food, and we have import the food for food security in Vietnam. But since renovation, the reform policy in Vietnam, so we gradually produce enough food for the Vietnamese people, and we also export. And after more than 20 years, even nearly 30 years, the modern agriculture is put more high input and productivity, and now we are facing the problem on the environment, degradation, deforestation, or loss of biodiversity, and also other things. So the government recognize the importance of the coordination between different ministries. You know that in Vietnam we are now have a food security in the country, but in certain time, in certain area, we also facing the food insecurity in sometimes in certain area. That's why we think that now is the time for us have to change, to transform the agriculture and food system in the country. In addition, we also facing a three nutrient burden, that is malnutrition in the mountainous area and disadvantaged area, the overweight, obesity in the city, and also the the disease related to the non-communicable disease. So the government in last year, in March last year, the government issued the national action plan on the food system transformation towards transparency, sustainability, and responsibility towards 2030. In this national action plan is consists of 36 main tasks, and it's more with the 4 ministries: the Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources. So now, after the National Action Plan issues, now the government assigned the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development is a key ministry and takes a leading role. So we now, within the ministry, we are preparing to set up the food system transformation partnership. We also take the consultation with the 3 other related ministries, also with the international organization. And we get the support that we should set up the food system transformation partnership, and the partnership will be the platform or the policy dialogue, for the own related partner in the country at least once a year to meet and to share the experience. The second one, in the partnership, we intend to establish the coordination group. So the coordination group that will consist of the key department under the 4 ministry. So that's the coordination group like the government task force. So in any thing related to the food safety or emergency need related to the agriculture, the task force will be act immediately and can report to the government. And also, we will establish a 5 technical working group that is important for the country. The first one is agroecology or nature-based practice. That is the first one, and that is focused on production side. The second working group is the nutrition and local food diversification, and this group will be led by the Ministry of Health together with other partners. The third is food loss and food waste. In Vietnam, the food loss and food waste, the ratio is very high, higher than the average in comparing the ASEAN country. I think it's 30 to even 40%. And this one will be leading by the Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Trade, and with the other ministry as well. And the fourth task group is the green and responsible consumption. So this one will be led by the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Health, and finally is the group on the policy and institutional. So this group will be the cross-cutting and working together with the other technical working group. So now in the we call it the secretariat or the support for this group. So we also preparing the TOR, and also we need to prepare the detailed implementation plan, because with the 36 main tasks, so we have to see how we to do it, and which organization and how is the which one should we do first, because we also have limited resource, financial resource and human resources. And apart from the setup of the partnership, we also thinking start to work with the CGIAR and CGIAR to prepare the M&E system, because we have to monitor it, the transformation, from now. And CGIAR is working with the IPSAT and General Statistic Office, to see what is the existing the M&E in Vietnam and which indicator we need to include to reflect the transformation. Of course, it will be based on the SDG indicator, but which one is more important in Vietnam or must be included? We try to make it as the most simple, but enough to report also for the country, but also report to the UN. And we also, apart from the government, we also, in the ministry, we also try, we have set up the food innovation hub. This one, we're working together with the Partnership for Sustainable Agriculture in Vietnam. We call it the PSAP office. This one is more related to the private sector and investment company like Nestle or Bayer or Lavazza, or this is the way we try to bring the policy or the orientation of the development in the agriculture for the private sector. So they working with us and support us. And And finally, we also try to working with different partners to mobilizing funds to implement the action plan, both financial resource and human resource, technical assistance. For example, we're working with the UN, the FAO, and UNDP to try to get the seed fund from the SDG fund, and we also working with the US for the for rice fertilizer, or with the US, the Asia, with the Ireland for the livestock sector, and for CGIAR in, for example, IRI or INRI or SIP, CGIAR, etc. So we think that we try to do by learning, and this is the process, and we thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for providing that overview on the pathway that you have initiated in Vietnam and what we can learn for the region, and really the importance of this cross-sectoral engagement across ministries as being really crucial to change and transform the food system, and also the importance of appropriate partnerships, identifying key opportunities or pain points that need to be addressed. So thank you very much. With that, let me do this. I will join you. Does this work, or do I need to turn it on? Okay. Yes, it's working. So with this, I would just like to go 2 minutes to each of the panelists. And Jung-Soo, yes, please join us, to ask about your thoughts on enhancing partnerships in the countries and the region. Some of it you have already addressed, but maybe you want to complement. So let me start with Margaret, because she has 2 more slides. Can we show the last 2 slides?
You're not allowed to project in. Okay, can I have the slide, my slide, and then scroll?
The 2 slides that were remaining. There we are. Yeah.
The next one.
The next slide, please.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Go ahead.
what should I do?
As you wish.
I wish to dance.
Afterwards.
So let me go back to my slides. So now this is a slide showing you the ASEAN Climate Resilience Network, or ASEAN CRN we call it. So the ASEAN Climate Resilience Network facilitates information exchange, promotes policy coordination, and provides capacity building to enhance climate resilience among member states. Through research, innovation, and advocacy efforts, the network strengthens regional partnership and raises awareness about the importance of climate resilience in ASEAN region, contributing to a more sustainable future amidst climate change. So ASEAN CRN also gave birth to the ASEAN Negotiating Group on Agriculture, or we call it ANGA, where I am Thailand's negotiator in agriculture under the UNFCCC, SABSTA, and SBI. Thailand adopted the Emiratis Declaration on Climate Resilience and Sustainable Food System during the COP28 and the Food and Agriculture Sustainable Transformation of the FAO. In one of our ASEAN CRN meeting, we had a foresight exercise, and as shown in the slide, we visualize ASEAN agriculture as a resilient, biodiverse, and pollution-free agri-food system that provides healthy and nutritious food by 2050 in ASEAN. So we have identified the 4-wheel drive, includes integrated approach, coordination, and political will. Strengthening the policy, financial support, and spread awareness and understanding on climate change. Institutionalized and binding ASEAN climate policy and action, scientific knowledge sharing, and capacity building. Just to 2 minutes for the 11 transformation action and enabling conditions. That includes the involvement of all stakeholders, multi-sectoral programs, steering committee, you have heard all of this actually, global alliance in climate change, investment in R&D, stakeholder participation, sustainability framework as a guiding action of public and private entities, data generation, management, and use, sustainable finance, effective implementation, and sustainability. We need to have a real national champion to really be committed and strengthen partnership. Awareness of stakeholders, advocacy and guidelines, identify success story from the region, and link national guidelines to regional guidelines, or local, national, regional, global, and then vice versa. From global, it goes to regional, national, and local. So I am here on behalf of the ASEAN CGIAR, and we are ready, and we are welcoming collaboration, partnership, particularly that we have now the ASEAN CGIAR initiative, and we very much welcome partnership with the ASEAN CGIAR entities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think we can flip to the photographs again, photograph slides. Again, it shows that there are mechanisms in place like regional networks, thematically on climate now. There are other ones on agrobiodiversity, and it is critical that we use these platforms, as you say, in a systematic way to share experience, to capture the knowledge, to work together across countries and at the regional level. So maybe a question to Ped. In terms of collaboration, really, any additional points you want to make in terms of how we can invigorate collaboration in the ASEAN region across countries?
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for the question. Actually, maybe allow me to share that our instructions or maybe our guidance are actually coming from ASEAN member states. You know, ASEAN Secretariat creates that vibrant, or dynamic environment wherein opportunities for collaboration emanates from. So through the guidance documents, these are in forms of declarations or statements, and some of these are actually presented earlier already, which have become as basis for basis for aligning programs and activities of partners, developing partners. So all of these are coming from the ASEAN member states, and ASEAN Secretariat do the facilitation, coordination, and working with partners on creating that programs that can be implementable not only at the regional level but also at the individual ASEAN member states. Yeah.
I think we have a follow-up to that, Margaret.
Yeah. Okay, since ASEAN Secretariat once called me the grandmother of ASEAN, so I have some passion for this cooperation framework. He's right. And what's the beauty of the ASEAN framework, particularly the AMAP, or the ASEAN Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, yes, is that policies are being mainstreamed in the national policies. Because once it's endorsed, as he said, endorsed by the AMAP, by the ministries, then it's sure that it should be implemented because it's a commitment from the ministers. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Ms. Bin, any additional comments on collaboration and partnerships?
Yes, I think that from Vietnam, I totally agree with the mother of ASEAN, and we are the grand. And the ASEAN during the COP negotiation in the agriculture, the ASEAN making the group and make the voice within the agriculture negotiation. So I hope that this working group is still continue because the negotiation in agriculture is still getting difficulty. That's the first. The second thing, I think that the ASEAN is very good platform for the country to share and to learn experience from each other. But I think the secretariat should be thinking about the other country with the strength when you organize a workshop or dialogue within the country, within the region. For example, in Vietnam, we are willing for any workshop for the rice or the low carbon. But in Thai, you have another, is a cooperative or the. So I mean that when you organize a building capacity or technical sharing, so you can make in different country to learn and to visit the learning by doing, so that we can work together. Thank you.
May I have follow-up on that? 1 minute.
As the grandmother,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Under the ASEAN Technical Working Group on Crop, Thailand is leading a project, we call it Expert Dispatch and Exchanges among ASEANs. So this project, although it's not moving, the concept of that is to bring in all the experts working with ASEAN, and this a rich roster of experts, actually, both from the ASEAN member states and from our development partners. So how can we mobilize this expertise if there are some problem with that country? And so I hope that this could be materialized. Yeah.
Thank you. Jung-soo, you want to add to this?
Yeah. Thank you, Stefan. Actually, as we all discussed today, this is the great platform. So one single program can cover everything. It's not possible. However, once you have very strong kind of structure and communication channel and engagement platform, so we can solve many problems together. So that means the improvement and discussion, and we can change and relearn the trials and errors. So that's why this is a very strong platform, as you mentioned, endorsed by the AMAF. So that's why we can leverage this good structure and good program to make the other kinds of the better programs. So I'm sure that this is a really valuable program for all the ASEAN and CG itself. Yeah, that is a kind of thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jung-soo. With that, let me reach out to the participants, the audience, and please.
Thank you. Congratulations to all the speakers. I'm from the Department of Agriculture, Philippine Rice Research Institute. I was just thinking the force now, because this is a deep dive session, the force of the ASEAN. And then you have the CGIAR. I was listening to the reports, but I was thinking like it is really impossible to work through all the intervention packages. And I'm sure every country will try to work on each one of those. But I was thinking, how could, for example, this kind of forum really go on a deep dive? Like, for example, there was mention of reducing losses or responsible consumption. Is that something that we can do? Like, I look at it as a low-hanging fruit. If every country in the ASEAN will put a lot of initiative, I was also thinking, like, if the agriculture is contributing, it used to contribute more, I believe, now just 10% of the GDP. So every misstep in any country will really be a lot of very difficult consequence. So maybe the food is already produced, but then it is wasted. Is that something that maybe we can take a concerted effort so that it's a low-hanging fruit? If everyone delivers, then possibly the pressure on producing on the other side is maybe balanced more. Thank you.
Who would like to? Margaret.
I'm from Peel Rice as well. My parents are from Peel Rice. I'm the daughter of Hilario de la Cruz Jr. Thank you. So yes, as now it's like we are already in a different forum. This is food security. We are talking about food waste, food loss. But however, there are a lot of platforms talking about on this. Food waste and food loss is already being addressed under this BCG or biocircular green economy. Yes, we need to deep dive now on how, I can remember what Esther said, the 5 W's and the 1 H. Yeah? So how do we really work together? And what will be the project, and who are the stakeholders? I'm thinking of making a matrix now, because we always do that in the meeting. That those questions are already asked, and I'm trying to propose something. What project, and then when it's CGIAR is a lot of centers, no? And now they are going on to one CGIAR, and also now in the ASEAN CGIAR, and so they are developing now into a multidisciplinary thing. So that is very important. Let's deep dive now. I want to know also how these forums would really, let us have a project. But we do not want to duplicate projects. Let us, I heard this morning that it's not the success story he was taking, it's maybe the failure. So let us learn from that. And then let's make let us analyze what is the gap, what's the failure, and then we focus on that, so that we don't duplicate projects. So I think it's already high time, no? ASEAN CGIAR should look into that. It's your assignment.
Our common assignment. Unless somebody has a comment here, let me go back to the audience. We'll steal 5 minutes from lunch if that's okay.
I'm Lourdes Adriano. I'm an ADB retiree, but I used to work on food security a lot. The question I'd like to raise, or even a suggestion, is that post-2025, there will be 3 major documents in the ASEAN that will have to change. Those are the ASEAN Economic Community, the ASEAN Food, Agriculture, Forestry, as well as the ASEAN Integrated Food Security Strategic Plan of Action. It will be good if the ASEAN CGIAR have an influence, or at least try to leverage in the 3 of them. I'm sure you're already working with the ASEAN Secretariat, but the one that will be really strategic for you will be the ASEAN Integrated Food Security, because its long-term goal is both food and nutrition security. In fact, all of the 5 components and strategic thrusts of the ASEAN Integrated Food Security have major implications on your 8 thrusts. So it'd be good if you can do that, and maybe this is also a bit of an advertisement. We will be discussing the comprehensive review of the ASEAN economic, ASEAN +3 emergency rice reserve, but we will also provide you a good overview of what the ASEAN integrated food security would look like. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for that information. And I think part of what the CGIAR can do is really bring in knowledge, evidence, experience in some of these areas and contribute to that dialogue. So engaging.
One more platform, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
So one more platform that the ASEAN CGIAR could look into is this multi-sectoral framework on climate change and food security. This is an integration of environment, agriculture, and rural development. So if you could attend some of the meetings and if you could provide some contribution on how we could implement projects that is related to climate change and food security, that would be a good platform as well.
Thank you very much. Would you like?
You are the secretariat.
Okay, just allow me to respond to the last comment on the AIFS, the AEC blueprint, and of course the vision. Definitely, that's correct. We are working on this at this time, and we're starting with the review. We're reviewing the past documents, progress, and assessing where is ASEAN at the moment and how do we design, the next framework. But if I may add, for the post-2025, it will start with the AAC blueprint because this is the mother of all plans in ASEAN. Of course, this is only for the ASEAN Economic Community. We also have 3 other communities, no? And they have also different blueprints that they prepare by themselves. But for the AEC blueprint, from there emerges the specific programs and frameworks that will cater to the cooperation on agriculture, food, and forestry. So definitely, we welcome all the support coming from all stakeholders, and bringing in this knowledge and expertise. You have all the information that you can share, and it will be very helpful in the design process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, I think I should wrap up. And I think for the wrap-up, we said 1 minute each. Do we have time for 1 minute each for our panelists, or are we? We have time? A short, 30 seconds, right?
Yeah,
At
yeah.
breakfast, we said 30 seconds. So let's start with you, yeah.
Thank you. My conclusion is that we need to work, we need collaboration, partnership, and we need to involve the research and development because we need the evidence base for the decision maker, the policy. And we need to have a financial basis like ADB here in order to implement that. And very important, we must include the community, especially pay attention to the woman farmer because they are the producer and consumer and responsible for the nutrition and healthy for the whole family. And you know that in the year 2026, the UN will promote the International Year of the Woman Farmers. So let's work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I've been waiting for this.
30 seconds.
Yeah. I have one word. Okay. So my conclusion would be ADB. All together, do it best.
I get it.
It's hard to follow that one. Okay.
Now something similar for ASEAN.
Well, of course. Yeah, it's going to be tough. But anyway, and I only have 30 seconds, right?
Yes.
And my 10 seconds already up.
No, I'll never.
Okay, but I think I would like to emphasize that in order for us to collaborate with ASEAN, let's look at the mechanisms that are existing. As much as possible, yeah, existing mechanisms. And we have the ministerial meetings, for instance. The ministerial meetings discuss the policies, and they give the directions. From these policy directions comes the working groups, and the working groups tries to translate them into operational terms. I think how to make it programmatic in this case. And it's better to work with these working groups in terms of designing programs, in terms of designing projects, so that they know best, because there are experts coming from the AMS. That's the best part, and they know how to put it within the context of the AMS, and not only at the priorities of the national level, but also at the regional level. So that's for collaboration
Thank you.
purposes. Thank you.
Yes. Jung-soo?
Okay, 30 seconds. So it's the same because this is the platform, and then we are trying to. It's working this system and this format. So now we know that this format is working, and this is the great platform working with ASEAN. So member countries and secretariat. I hope so we can show that this value to the CG, other region. So this is the one of the best case. We do the effort to change, make this better world with the people together. So that is the great, I hope we can make this kind of good success story. Thank you.
ADB, right? Okay, with that, I'd really like to thank the 3 CG colleagues who made their presentations, and then the panelists. So a big hand to them all.